configuration of antimony SB and 51 obtain the N, MS, and LL. And energy level, MS, we have the magnetic spin like that. You get the point? ML is the quantum number, magnetic quantum number, and L is the azimuthal. You get the point, my guys? Okay? S spin, gana siya ha. You get the point? Spin. MS is the spin. That's why. And ML is the, the rotation. You get the point? ML. Rotation. Sakto ba na siya? Yes. Okay, sakto ba akong flash memory and energy level? MS is this, the electron spin, correct. L is the azimuthal for the shape, right? The shape of an atomic orbital. ML is really the orientation, okay? Orientation, the magnetic quantum number, something like that. Okay? So, 51. Nakataas ang 51, guys. Oy, dugit ang muna nino. 1S, 2S, 3S, 4S, 5S. Okay? And then 2P, 3P, 4P, 5P. And then we have 3D, 4D, 5D. And then, okay, 4F, 5F. Ganon. Okay, if you want also to extend, then go farther. 6S, 6P, ganon, 6D, and 6F. Or 7S, 7P, 7T, 7F. So notice the sub-level, guys. It should have S, P, D, F, 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 S, P, D, F. Arrange properly from lowest energy level to highest energy level. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because this is the principle of off-bow. Okay, filling of electrons. You get the point? In subshell should always start in the lowest energy level to the highest energy level. Okay, so it's arranged 1, 2, 3 in ascending order, going up. The going down is descending order, but going up is ascending order. Okay, going up man siya from 1 to 6 ganon. Okay, like this. Now, atomic number would represent the electronic configuration, the electrons. So in the periodic table, you have 51, right? And then you have to stop during 51 counting of these orbitals in the different subshells as per their energy level. Okay, ganon. So, okay, ganon na siya. 1 is put an arrow down, going there. Tararat, tararat, ganon. 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 Okay? So, you will put the, the diagonal. Okay? First, vertical going down, horizontal, diagonal, tararat, tararat, ganon. See, notice the pattern. Okay? You get the point? So, it's gonna be like that. Now, for 51, okay, ako iklaro. So, 1S, 2S, vertical going down, horizontal going to 2P, and then create a diagonal going to 3S, and then create diagonal going to 3P. It will be like this. So, no more horizontal after that. Diagonal, diagonal, diagonal lang siya, chuba, chuchu. Because it happens here na 2 is 2P. Actually, this is also diagonal, but it's only two numbers there. So you have to put straight na lang siya. Okay? Moro man gyapon masud ang 2S and 2P. If I will put 2S and 2P will be inside also the diagonal line. If I say 2S, okay, masud man gyapon siya. So hindi ka na 2S, 2P lang gyapon siya. So it's totally the same horizontal siya. But then in the succeeding, you have to put diagonal, diagonal, diagonal like this, ha? Diagonal line. No need horizontal line. Only lang siya sa 2S, 2P, lagi na siya kutob ang horizontal line. The rest, well, diagonal line. Okay? And then, mo-touch siya dito sa outermost na walay number, then i-download mo siya sa mga number. May technique. Okay? See, I put 3. I will put diagonal into the outer here. There's a number and going down. Outer, going down. Something like that, okay? If you follow my, if you follow my hand while watching, then you can understand the direction of the diagonal line. Okay? Ganon. electronic configuration of antimony or SB, ganon. 51. So 51 electrons in the outermost shell. That's the electronic configuration. Ganon. Okay, so 1s. Sundan atong arrow. 2s. 2p. Okay, going down. 3s. Okay, and then going there. 3p. Going down. Okay, 4s. Okay, going up. 3d. Going down. 4p. Okay, going down. 5s. Going up, right? 4D, going down, 5P, 6 is. As you can notice also, it started really with a low energy level. So you should put also in your brain cells, if you put the highest first, then that is wrong already. Stick by the theory that you should put first the lowest energy level so that it will become wrong. Do not just depend on the diagonals. For example, 1S, 2S, 2P, okay, like that, so 3S, and then going to 3p, like that, 4s. Say, I will not say 4s, 3p because 4 is highest energy level than 3p, so you deviate already the theory. You get the point? It's not only like following the pattern all the time. Look also for the theory. If it match and if it really align, because if it is not aligned, then you are using the wrong pattern or something like that. You are not meeting the requirement. The, what do you call this one? Theoretical requirement. It's gonna be like that all the time. It's not really that memorizing or having the pattern all the time. You make it in the same manner. But take note also how it will be matching the concept, the theory, and the principle, because it's very, very important. Okay? It's very, very important. As you can see, the book always starts with introduction. You get the point? Because it's in the introduction that you will learn a lot. And there's a summary there, what's going to be happening. It's not really the examples. I told you frankly, it's not really the examples that make the students understand. It is the introduction of the totality of the topic. We will discuss that there. Okay? And blah 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 like that. And then example. Example number 1. But sad to say, some instructors and professors will go directly to the example. Okay? They will just talking at small and then like this, chuba-chuchu, like that in their experience before, but they will never focus directly to the, the content of the topic, and the students will get lost. Really? Really? Okay? So, though not all, but mostly. Based on my experience. Okay, they will just tell small, and then after that, example. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's really in the introduction part is very important, really, guys. Okay, not really the example. Okay, because example is just only making how it is being solved. You will follow how it is being like this, but the reality you have to understand the introduction. You got the point, guys? Okay. Going back to the example: 1s, 2s, 2p, 3s, 3p, 4s, 3d, 4p, 5s, 4d, 5p, 6s. Okay. Then after that, you go to the 4f. Okay, going down, okay, then increasing energy level, 5D, 6P, 7S. And then they're gonna again, okay, on. So 5F. Get the point? Okay, now take note the number of electrons that each sub-level or sub-shell can occupy. Something like that. You get the point? Okay, so S is 2 electrons. All S sub-level or sub-shells are occupying 2 electrons. You get the point? And you need to prove that one also, or no need? Okay, no need back, or we need to. Okay? For example, if I will say energy level 1, so we have n squared, 1 times 2, then this is 1. Okay? And then 2, energy level 2, 2, okay, then it's 4, like this. Okay, then 2n squared, like this. N squared really, guys, is the maximum orbitals man siya, guys. Okay? But 2n squared is the maximum number of electrons that an energy level can occupy. Okay, for example, we have energy level 1, okay, 2, 1 raised to the power 2, then 2, oh, ganon. Energy level 2, okay, 2 times 2, 4. Okay, something like that. 2 times 2, 4 times 2, 8. Ganon. Energy level 3, 3 times 2, 9 times 2, 18. Ganon. You get the point? Okay, I teach you that n raised to the power 2 is the number of orbitals. It's not the number of electrons that it can occupy. But 2n raised to the power 2 is equal to the maximum electrons that an energy level can occupy. You get the point? Okay, so this is confusing part also because we have the same variable n. Okay, this is in the quantum theory, ha? Okay, small letter n. N is the energy level. But if the formula is n raised to the power 2, that is computing the number of orbital. You get the point? Okay, in that particular energy level. You get the point? And then if 2n squared, 2 raised to the power, 2 raised to the n raised to the power 2 times 2 n squared back. Okay, that's maximum of electrons that a subshell can occupy. Okay. Energy level, not subshell. Okay, like this. For example, if I have how many orbitals that a third energy level can occupy? This is the question, huh? I will just give an example to the one I teach a while ago. So how many orbitals I'm not telling energy level or whatever. Okay, how many orbitals that an energy level of 3 equal to? So you are trying to ask how many orbitals, not electrons. So our formula is n squared. Okay? And then energy level 3. So substitute the 3 because this is 3, 3, 3. So 3 raised to the power 2, 9. So there are 9 electrons in the third energy level. Okay? I'm sorry, there are 9 orbitals in the third energy level. Okay? So you should be extra careful. Okay? Tatagamay sa itong bakba, marong din ta. At least I show the correct answer here in the board. That is two way. If you mistake in the words, and then the board will show that's correct, so you have to fix something like that. But the problem that sometimes you're only speaking, and then you cannot notice your errors. Because you are not writing. You get the point? Or unless you present a slide in the projector, something, then you can easily correct because you are looking at it, what you are trying to discuss. But there are also times that you are only keep on discussing, there's no slide presentation, especially if it's not really that long or lengthy, then that's the problem. So maybe the audience can detect it if they know the topic, of course, right? So things like that also, huh? This is human error, okay, like that. So, for example, orbitals. Oh, another example, guys, okay? How many orbitals in the third energy level, on the fifth energy level? Okay, so we will see how many orbitals. That's tantamount to maximum of orbitals. So that's the same already technically. So you don't have to be, word for word also that you need the word maximum. You get the point? You need the word maximum in order to use this n squared. Even though orbitals only, then you can use that formula. So, how many orbitals in the fifth energy level? So n is equal to 5. Or just the same saying, how many maximum of orbitals in the fifth energy level? Meaning to say, the word maximum is not relevant already, as long as we have the formula n squared. Okay? Because that's referring to orbital. Now, if we have 2n squared, this is referring to the number of electrons. Or maximum number of electrons, the same thing. Okay, for example, how many orbitals or maximum orbitals in the fifth energy level? So your n is equal to 5. So n squared, so 5 raised to the power 2, we have 25 orbitals. Or 25 maximum orbitals in the fifth energy level of your outermost shell. Okay, for example, you will draw the atom. Okay, like that. The atomic theory of John Dalton. You remember that one? Or let us say you are using the Niels Bohr theory. And then there's a nucleus in the center. Nucleus. Okay, in which the atom, the tiniest or the smallest elemental constituent, an atom is in the center, composed of proton and neutron, right? And then you will draw the nucleus. In the outermost shell, the electrons will occupy there. And that's first circle. Okay, that is energy level 1. Outermost shell. Sa first nucleus. And then after the nucleus, draw na sa kaglaing circle, another circle, and then that is the second outermost shell. And then that is n is equals to 2. Meaning to say, the outermost shell is also the energy level. N. It will go increasing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you draw a very, very big atomic theory to the infinity meaning walang katapusan. Infinity meaning infinite, boundless and immeasurable. That's the same thing. Boundless and immeasurable and infinite. Meaning, it's immeasurable. So you can do that a lot without ending. Okay, mamatay na lang ka, digit na mahurot ang atomic theory hantod sa universe. Okay? So that would be the pattern. N1, N2, N3, N4 until N trillion. Okay? Energy level trillion times. Okay, muagi pa gina siya. Basta grabe na siya, infinity. Okay? You get the point? Atoms are infinite. Okay, meaning to say you cannot measure. Okay, but we have constant to predict that. But it is not really fixed and definite. Okay, that's why we introduce a constant to make it easier by using the Avogadro number. Okay, Avogadro number 6.023 times 10 to the 23. Imagine, times 10 to the 23, and that's very, very huge. You can imagine raised to the power 23. Okay, how much is that? So, meaning to say, infinite, immeasurable, boundless. Meaning, walang katapusan. O, ganon. So, mo siya ang mga bukas-sabutan. Ikaw first level, hantod sa 7. Napag hantod sa trillion, sa atoms. And you can never measure that until in the universe, in the outer space. You get the point? O, muna siya. And then we have, meaning to say, there's the orbitals until to the universe, not only in the Earth. Okay? You get the point. So if I will say, what are the maximum number of electrons in a 1 billion energy level? So you can also compute by using this one. Okay, but the problem is it cannot be detected in the calculator because the scientific calculator has limitation. It will never shown here in the screen of the calculator because that's trillions like this. And infinite. Okay? So the important is you understand really the concept. Okay, like this. So maximum number of electrons in 5th level. So 2 times 5 is equal to 2 to 25 times 2. So that is 50. So there are 50 maximum number of electrons in the 5th energy level. And there are 25 orbitals only in the 5 energy level. So di siya pareho. If the question in the future will ask for orbitals and electrons, it's not the same. Okay, why I teach you like this? Because when I was in college, I will be confused. Okay, so what I vlog really now is the topics that I cannot really understand. Okay, you get the point. Though I really passed the chemical engineering board examination, but you know, it's still not enough. Okay, something like that. I have still more knowledge to learn with regards to pure sciences. Okay, you know, the advantage is already there because I am really a science course graduate, but I still have to research more, especially in areas that I don't really understand that much. Okay, things like this. Okay, get the point. I go in the gray area, GREY, confusing area, and you know that thing, gray, meaning to say confusion area, tricky area in which most students cannot understand. Okay, including me. Okay, something like that. You get the point? So, klaro na siya ang electrons ng orbitals. Okay, now we proceed here. Okay, so 2 electrons sa S. Okay, so this 2 is the number of electrons that a subshell can occupy. It's another story. Rather than saying maximum of electrons that an energy level can occupy. So this is also another confusion part in this topic. You get the point? Okay, I will state again. Okay, number of electrons that a subshell can occupy, that is referring to the SPDF orbitals or subshells. You get the point? So these 2 electrons is the maximum electrons that the S subshell or sublevel can occupy. It's not the number of electrons that an energy level can occupy. So there's a difference. You get the point? You get the point? Wala na siya may tabuha, mga palangga. So S2 ang P is 6. You get the point? And then ang S2 ang P is 6. S2 D10 for P 6. Saguhan na lang na siya, kadili na siya masag-o, mga palangga. Okay, ganon. Dali na siya masag-o. Okay, you get the point? Okay. Muna siya yung hitabo. And then S is 2, D is 10, 5 is, P is 6, S is 2. Ano lang siya agad? S, P, D, F. Okay, 2 electrons. Okay, 6 electrons like this. 10 electrons. Okay. And then we have 14 electrons. Okay, you get the point? And then I may explain also, so tell me why you get the 2, why you get the 6, why you get the 4. I can explain that later on. Wait. Okay. Aside from memorizing, I will also teach you how these 2 electrons can be derived, that this subshell can occupy, where this come from, something like that. Okay? You get the point. Oh, ganon. Later. Okay, then 6, F is 14, and T is 10, P is 6, S is 2, F is 14. Review, ha? So if you put electrons in the subshell, remember, S 2 electrons, P 6 electrons, D 10 electrons, F 14 electrons, and when you write, check also if it's correct. S2, S2, ganon. P6, S2, P6, S2, D10, P6, S2, D10, okay. P6, S2, F14, D10, P6, S2, 5F14, perfect. And we have 51, okay? So you will add all the electrons here in the antimony if it reaches 51. Okay, so 4, 10, 12, 18, 20, 30, 36, 38, 48. Oh, 48 plus, let's say, 51 minus 48, mga palangga. Okay, so it's gonna be 3. Napatay 3 na balance. Since you know P6 here, adjust this to 3. Okay, because you cannot have 6, because if you add 6, it will become 57 already. So you will adjust, it will reach to the total. So erase the other one not included. Okay. Now, when you buy the periodic table in the market, I observed that by myself, guys, because you know, when I was in high school, I already have my own periodic table in my house. Okay. Though I did not intend to take up Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering, because when I was young, really, I wanted to become a broadcast journalist, something like that. I don't aim to become an engineer. Okay, so I love English that much. Okay, and then due to the presidential scholarship by the government, it was not listed there. The Bachelor of Mass Communication major in broadcast journalism is not there. Okay, so I forced to choose chemical engineering because I love too much chemistry. Okay, and science. I love science subjects. My two favorite subjects are science and English. I don't love math. Okay? You get the point. Since science involves always mathematics for practical application, then I used to love slowly math. Because science cannot be proven and tested if you cannot understand the math. Okay? Because that's practical application through data. And data most of the times involve numbers, figures, something like that. Okay, so you cannot interpret well your scientific research if you don't have data. Data through your analysis, could it be in the laboratory or actual experimentation? So you will be forced to love math automatically without question. You get the point? But my favorite subjects are English and science. Okay, so that's why I choose a BS Chemical Engineering because it was listed in the presidential scholarship there. Okay, like that. So, okay, so we have 51 here. Okay, so if you buy the periodic table, okay, guys, if you're a senior high school like that, okay, you should have your own periodic table in your room. Okay, me, I will put my periodic table in my room, and then day by day, I will look at it. Okay, so that means I really put by heart my profession. something like that. So every time I go back to home, to school, I still, when I go back to sleep, I can still say the antimony, the oxygen, really, because that's my course. I have to love it, right? Aside from loving chemistry or science. You get the point? Okay, that's why. And I have also my small mini library in my room. Okay, and before I sleep, the books will be in my stomach, in my pillow, like that when I was young, high school. So I developed that until college, like that, and then that's why I harvest a positive thing. I am a licensed chemical engineer because of that effort to the highest level. Okay, ganon. Okay, so and then I'm not also an extrovert person. I don't have so many friends. Okay, because I will be at my best if I'm alone. Okay, so introvert. Okay, that's why. So I don't love to engage in so many people. Okay, I'd rather to be alone as God as my partner, something like that. So I can freely think by my own and I can easily decide by my own without any interruptions and obstructions by other decisions around me. Something like that. That made me also, pass the examination because free ko tanan nga i-maximize yung study ko by myself. Okay? So I did self-study and reviewing class and also resources, buying resources, latest resources, something like that. Wa di ko makontento. Not only reviewing the reviewing center, nag-self-study pa jud ko at the same time, taga-uli sa balay, magtuon pa jud ko pag-ano. Okay? Really guys, sumuha na siya nito. Because I really aim to become a top-notcher before. Really, I'm not Zoma cum laude, I'm not Amanya cum laude, but though I am also in the dean's list, okay, but I did not aim really to, I really aim to be on the top. That's only confidence and positivism to boast my morale to really pass the examination. Okay, it's not being arrogant, it's not being boastful, that's only self-confidence and positivism. Okay? I just using probability and statistics at the time because if I will aim just to pass, maybe I will fail. If I will aim too high, maybe I am in the center. I will not fall directly to the ground. Okay, normally that's gonna be like that. Aim high. Okay, so that's why I applied that when I was in my education in high school and college, something like that. Okay, and then that's it. I love chemistry that much. Okay. And one triggers me also when I became the champion of the chemistry quiz ball in my high school. So that's why, I love chemistry really. This is it. Something like that. Okay. And then, things are running very, very fast. Okay. Now, that was 20 years ago. Going back to my vlog. Here. This is pure chemistry, right? Oh my gosh. Okay, it's 51. And then the last electronic configuration. This 1s2 to s2 to are called electronic configuration. When you buy the periodic table, it will never mention everything there. You get the point? It will never mention everything there. They will cut off the electronic configuration somewhere here only, somewhere here only, but it's understood that the last will be the basis. Here, 5p3, right, is the last. So remove other thing. Use the 5p3 now. Okay, so 5p3. Okay, so use the last electronic configuration of 5p3 in which you stop there. Do not include everything because it's very tasky and so many things to write, right? But if in your examination, you have to write that, okay, for the purpose of the examination of your teacher. Okay, but what I'm trying to say, in the periodic table, when you buy that in the market, it's cut off until here. Okay, like that. So you will confuse me. I confuse really. Wait, the electronic configuration is not the same in the classroom instruction because the last will be the basis. This one, the 5p3, something like that. Now, so P is your subshell. You have to identify one by one. P sublevel. O ganon. Subshell. Subshell is similar in meaning with sublevel. Okay, so we need to introduce another term so that we or the students or the examiners will never be confused. The terminology utilization. Okay, terminology utilization is very, very important. okay, to make an article or a document, something like that. Before you proofread your article to be released in the market or to be published, okay, in the public or whatever, okay, then you need to review, you proofread that out, so to erase the duplication of thoughts or points being presented in your document. So in here also, sub-level is just the same with sub-shell. And another term also more technical, this is also known as a secondary quantum number. Secondary quantum number. So, tulo ang definition. Subshell is just the same to sublevel. It's just the same to secondary quantum number. For example, if this is the 5p3, and then the question in the future will say, what is the secondary quantum number of antimony? Ganun lang. Okay, what is the secondary quantum number of antimony? Hala, antimony. Then you like to your periodic table, get the atomic number, and illustrate the electronic configuration, and then you have the last year. So your secondary quantum number, subshell or sublevel is P. Oh, ganon. Now you say, well, sir, so 36 ba itong electrons? But why you put 3? Because this is the last identification. Because you have total number of atomic number or electrons are 51 man siya. Okay, then you have to cut off. You have to adjust so that it will become the total of the atomic number. Okay? Ganon. So I have subshell or sublevel, secondary quantum number. Okay? P. And then energy level N is 5. The coefficient or the number put beside the letter will be your energy level, so that we can make it clear. Again, the coefficient or the number or the figure put beside the letter, and the letter here is P, small letter P. So that is our energy level, N. Okay, so 5. Okay, I'm gonna say that. What is the another term of energy level? Okay, another term energy level is also called the principal quantum number. Okay, sa ito pa, ang energy level is also known and the same meaning of principal quantum number. And another definition also of that is the shell. Shell, not the subshell. Shell only. Because in English, if you word the word sub, S-U-B, meaning it's under. It's under. If I will say division, subdivision. So the division is on the top, and then it will be subdivided. That's why subdivision. Okay? Meaning it was divided. For example, if I have the total of my expenses, 100 million, I have also my subtotal. Before going to the total, it's just concept here the same. Okay? We have shell. We have also subshell. Okay? The shell or the outermost shell is your energy level, and at the same time, that is your principal quantum number. Why I am emphasizing you to this? Because future examinations and questions will be using different terms that would mean the same. You got a point. Now, if your examination in your classroom instructor is always using the same terms over and over again, then in the future, you cannot understand what's that all about. That's why an instructor, mentor, professor, you should give the another terminology and the another meaning so that the students will not be confused in the future. Okay, it's the role of the mentor, educator, professor, and instructor to teach the students to learn the different similar meaning terminologies, because not all the time will be phrased in that way or using the same common terminology over and over again. And this is also one reason few examiners will also fail, because they don't familiarize the terminologies aspect. Especially if you're taking science profession. There's a lot of processes and operations involved. You get the point? So that's make it difficult. You get the point? So you have to understand, this is going to be the same. Or for example, solubility is also the same with concentration. Get the point? So if I was say, the solubility of sulfuric acid is like this, okay? And then, nga. Okay, ang imong gisago katulad yung moles per liter, na ang word giga concentration ba. You get the point? And then if it will be revised. The terminology, guys, really important. Okay? You get the point? Now, if the question will say, what is the principal quantum number of antimony? Oh, ano sila? Masa mo na, kinaanad man ka sa energy level nga N. Panihura man na siya. Okay? You get the point? So, outermost shell or level or energy level is just the same in meaning. Or the principal, meaning the whole, the parent is the principal. Secondary naman itong subject. Ano na ito pagsabot guys, ha? May mga, okay, mga sub na term, SUB. Okay? Like that. Okay, now, we have N, we have P, o ganon. Now, what is the question will state, what is the MS? Oh my gosh. M stands for magnetic. Okay? M stands for magnetic. Okay? And then, the subscript S stands for the spin. Okay? Stands for the spin. That's why S is the subscript of the small letter M. So, meaning to say, magnetic spin of an electron because we are referring to an electron. Again, MS, small letter M, small letter S is a subscript. It describes the electrons, the spin of the electrons, something like that. Okay? Now, ML or M also magnetic. Okay? Magnetic, ganon. You get the point mga palangga? So, magnetic. This is magnetic quantum number. Okay, so this ML would really determine the magnetic properties of all elements. Okay, under the law of magnetism or the law of polarity in physics. And this is very useful also in studying, semiconductors like that, metalloids, metallurgical, elements, alloying, something like that. Okay, very important here. And electronics industries are very important for this topic because it deals with electrons. Okay? Now, it's very specialized, right? Electronics are specific for electrons. It's not proton. Or else that will be protonic. You get the point? You will never say protonic industry, neutronic industry. You will never say that, but you will say electronic industry. Because the K term there is the elementary particle electron. Okay? Like that. Electronics Appliance Center. Meaning, most of the substances are made up of electrons. Because that is an identification of our electronic configuration. Okay? Because it's in there, we can determine the magnetism properties. Or, you get the point. Okay? So, because most of the elements have magnetic property. Okay? The ability of the elements to be conductive to electricity and to heat. Okay, something like that. You get the point? Wala itong study ang electronic configuration because there's purpose. Okay? Like especially if you are working in the semiconductor industries or electronic industries. Just like me, I've worked also in an electronic industry before. Okay? I am a chemical engineer, but I've worked in the electronics industry before. Our products are printed circuit boards in different appliances. For example, refrigerator, like that. Okay, sound system, laptop, mobile phone. The microchips inside, there's a printed circuit boards there. Okay, it will never operate if there's no circuit boards inside. Really? Okay, so that's our job. Okay, we need to determine the quality aspects for that so that it could release in the market. So I am in the quality assurance department. Something like that. Though it's not related to chemicals, but of course, that is under chemical engineering about electrons. Right? The topic of electrons are very, very important. And electronic industry. Soldering activity. Soldering task. Okay, get the point? Napalangga. Okay? Now, I learned a lot for 3 years. In our company before is Chenpun Industrial Company, located in Taiwan City, Taiwan Republic of China. Oh my gosh. Okay. So going back. So we have P is equals to 6, right? Ang atong electrons na hinigayuna. Okay, ato nang i-compute. So, nga 6 man na siya, sir. O, ganon. Nakakaloka. May ganon, ha? Okay? So, we need to recall the formula of azimuthal. Nakakaloka, no? Guys, if you don't want memorization and the same time understanding, don't take up chemical engineering. Okay, because a lot of memorization. Okay, memorization, analysis, and understanding. Right after understanding it, then you have to analyze. Okay, and then with back-up memorization. You get the point? Because there are technical terms that it cannot be derived. It's can be understood through memorization. Okay? Samahan ni azimuthal. It's azimuthal. You have to question that word azimuthal. Where it does come from. So, dugay kayo mo man imong study. If you will tukit sa mga terms, then it's just azimuthal. Then memorize it. Kalas. I don't have to derive why the word azimuthal is coming. You get the point? So, not all things are to be derived. Some things are just naturally occurring without question, something like that, okay? Because God gave that to us freely. You get the point? Just like water. It's just coming there. Okay, when we are here on earth. Okay? Nobody fabricates water, it's just coming in the nature. Okay, you get the point? That's my point. Okay, what we don't really think derivation all the time. Where does it come from? That will only help for better understanding. But if nanana siya, ay na nag-question. For example, there's sun, S-U-N. Where the sun is appearing? Nakakaloka? May ganun pa ba? Then it's appearing, then study that as it is. Don't question it back. Where does it come from? Because that is solar system. It's already there. God created the solar system. That's it. Okay? Ganon. Okay? Ganon ang pag-intention. Okay, azimuthal. But it depends on the instructor, really, because there's also instructors. Sometimes also, I'm not really a legit instructor, Me as a vlogger, okay, disclaimer. Me as a vlogger, I will also research the terms if I cannot understand. Okay? Azimuthal, something like that. Okay? And then azimuthal is represented the word L. Ganon. So we have the formula based on my memorization. That is 2 times L plus 1. Oh, ganon. So, 2L plus 1 is equal to the orbital. Orbital. Okay? Orbital and the subshell. Makalibog ko sa higad, no? Guys, no? Because this 2L plus 1 is the orbital in the subshell. Meaning to say, SPDF. It's another thing in saying the orbital in the energy level. You get the point? If the question in the future will say, okay, question number 1, what is the number of orbitals in an energy level of 4? You will never use this one because this is only for subshell, but the same thing, orbital. Do not mix up. Okay? Just like N squared ang gamito na ito, kaya involve dun siya energy level. Now, the same 2N squared. That is the maximum electrons that an energy level can occupy. Okay? It's very clear. And now we are trying to figure it out that what is that electrons in the subshell? What is the formula in which I have to share it with you now? Okay, so we have the orbital in the subshell. We have the formula 2L plus 1. Okay, ganon. Okay, 2L plus 1. So if I have the SPDF, I have to erase this, guys, ha? Kaya akong di off-bow principle na siya, guys. Oy, nakakaloka. This is discovered by Mr. Off-bow, a scientist before. Okay, like that. Okay. This was based in IUPAC, guys, ha? IUPAC, meaning International Union for Pure Applied Chemistry. This all electronic configuration, atomic numbers, mass numbers, protons, neutrons, charges, electrons, valence electrons in the outermost shell. Okay, everything in the periodic table are based on IUPAC, International Union for Pure Applied Chemistry. IUPAC. Ganon. Now we go back here. So now we have the 2L plus 1. Okay, this is our number of orbital. So I have the SPDF. S. Ganon. Nakakaloka. Okay, guys. Okay, now 2L plus 1 is your orbitals. Okay, ganon. Okay. Guys, your L, guys, in theory, see, the theory will be mixed with, computation, right? So in theory, the L is your shape of the atomic orbital. Shape of the atomic orbital. Meaning to say, this will determine the shape. And how can we determine the shape? Okay? Meaning to say, the atomic orbital shape can be best determined through the orbital angular momentum. Wow. Nakakaloka, no? Angular momentum. So, when we speak of momentum, again, let's go back to physics. Momentum is defined as the velocity times the mass. No, this orbital has its own mass and has its own velocity. Oh, that's very clear. So that's why momentum. Angular meaning referring to the angle that this orbital can project during orientation. Could it be 90 degrees, 45 degrees, 20 degrees? Each orbital can project an angular momentum. Okay, when they move in an orbit and a 3D motion, 3D motion in the technology that we have now, always 3D in motion, right? For example, in animation, in cartoon movies, or in any movies or whatever, so it could be best described through the 3D orientation. Okay, it's not only the X and Y axis, there's another axis Z in the diagonal. So X, Y, Z, and that is 3D rotation, the basis of animation. Cartoons like that, okay, following the 3D rotation. Now, the atomic orbital is also following that orientation, 3D orientation. Okay, now, when this atomic orbital will be oriented, meaning rotated, blah, 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 so and so, it will have their own angular momentum. Okay? Or based on angles, as I told you earlier. Okay, ganon. So that would be our L. Oh, ganon, L. Ganon. Now, in S subshell or sublevel, okay, this is producing an orbital that it will not move pa. Okay, stagnant or stationary. Stagnant, stationary, not moving. Like that. Or static, the same meaning in English. Static, stationary, not moving, or stagnant. Something like that. So, vocabularies, 4 vocabularies. Okay, when somebody says, you are stagnant, meaning you are not moving. Okay, you are static, you are stationary. That's why we have static equipment or stationary equipment. And we have also rotating equipment because those equipment are moving, something like that, or rotating. Something, if it only not move, stagnant in the foundation, so that is static equipment or stationary equipment, not moving or stagnant, something like that. Here, in the S subshell or sublevel, the orientation is not yet moving. You got a point. So, since we say L is the angular momentum based orientation, so we can say that L is equal to 0. Okay, L is equal to 0. Now, going back to the formula of an orbital, I say 2L plus 1. Now, we can compute for the orbital and the S subshell by using 0. Because it has no rotation pa. Okay, so 2 times 0 is equal to 0. 0 plus 1 is equal to 1. So 1 orbital. That's why in chemistry, there is only one orbital in the S subshell, S sublevel, or S secondary quantum number. You got a point. Now, we go 1 orbital. Okay? Now, we have P here. So this is not S. So our concern is P. Okay, going to P. O, ganon. O, diba? Nakakaloka. Now, since I tell you a while ago that we need to point out the 2 electrons. These 2 electrons can be obtained by multiplying the 1 orbital in each orbital can occupy. You get the point? Each orbital can occupy a maximum of 2 electrons before going to another orbital. You get a point. For example, if I have 5 orbitals, so each orbital can only occupy maximum of 2 electrons in opposite spin and direction, positive and downward. So I will say 1 orbital times 2. Okay, that's why 2 electrons. You get a point? Ganon. That's why we have 2 electrons in a subshell. So I discussed why there's 2 electrons in S subshell, and why also there is 1 orbital in S subshell. And the rest will follow. But let's do this in a continuous manner, a continuous manner. Okay? Okay. P. Why we obtain 6 electrons? Go first to the azimuthal, L. Okay, azimuthal basing on the shape. Okay, the shape of the atomic orbital and the orientation basing on angular momentum, the rotation. Okay, now, this P will move na siya talaga, but only one time moving. Okay, dito sa katong XYZ niya ng orientation ba, mutuyok lang siya kadiyot anak. Ganon. So, L will be equal to 1. Because only 1 man yung rotation. Ganon. Whatever. So L is equals to 1. L substitute this 2L plus 1 since you know this is the orbital computation. So 2 times 1. Okay, 2 plus 1 is equals to 3. So we have 3 orbitals. 3 orbitals in the P subshell, P sublevel, and secondary quantum number. No. So how can you do that? Why you have this 6 electrons? Because 3 orbitals times 2 electrons that can occupy in each P orbital. That's why 6 ang P. Kanang butang na to sa itong electronic configuration ba? SP6, so dito mo lang na-26 because of this. Okay, gano'n. Now, let's go to D. Okay. Ang D, guys, ang iyang azimuthal or orientation niya, angular momentum, murotate na siya ikaduha or 2 times. Okay, mutuyok siya, ganon. Okay, so 2 ang iyang orientation sa shape, sa atomic orbital with corresponding angular momentum. So it will become 2 times 2, 4 plus 1. So 5 orbitals. Okay, ang D. And then there are 2 electrons that D subshell can occupy. So 5 orbitals times 2 is equals to 10 electrons. That's why we have 10 electrons in our off-bound electronic configuration. Okay, now last. F is equals to 14. Why it become 14 electrons? Because of this. So L is equals to 3. Now, your atomic orbital will be oriented 3 times na siya in the angular momentum of the orientation. So 3 na. So use this in your formula. 2L plus 1. So 3 times 2, okay, 6. 6 plus 1, 7. So there are 7 orbitals. 7 orbitals in the F subshell. Okay, now 7 orbitals times 2 electrons in which this orbital can occupy. Then that's why it becomes 14 electrons. Okay. These 2 electrons, 6 electrons, and electrons that each sublevel can occupy has nothing to do with the maximum number of electrons that an energy level can occupy. It's not the same. You get a point? And the question in the future in chemistry or in science, especially if you're competing for the quiz bowl, science fair, or taking the board examination or whatever examination to become the future, you don't have to confuse or mix up that one. For example, how many electrons in the energy level 2? You'll never use this one because it's for subshell only. You get the point. You are using 2n squared na siya talaga siya to obtain the maximum number of electrons. The same thing with orbital chuba-chucho. Okay. The orbital chuba-chucho, you will say, what are the orbitals, how many orbitals in the P sublevel? Then use this 2L plus 1. Okay? Use this 2L plus 1, not the n squared. Because the n squared also, n raised to the power 2, is computing the orbital based on the energy level or the outermost shell. So there's there's a difference. And these areas, I did not understand very well 21 years ago in my college. I keep on researching. Okay, these are the areas that I'm weak. That's why And I need to, I need to really to understand this, what it's all about, okay? Though I understand, but not really that, 100%. Okay? So something, there's a confusion behind it, and I ensure that I understand very well. That's why I keep on research during my day offs. Something like that. Okay? Okay, going back. Ano natin? 1, 3 orbitals per orbital. Gamitin siya. Okay. Klaro na kayo. Okay. Now, na-determine na itong energy level sa antimony nga 5. Okay? Check. Okay? Azimuthal L. P. So this P. So our azimuthal L is 1. 1. Right? Because it is P, right? Ganon. Now our problem is MS and ML. Magnetic spin, electron spin. Magnetic spin of the electron. Okay? And the magnetic property or the magnetic quantum number. Now, since we have P substellar orbital, I have to draw this one. So you will understand, guys. Okay? Like that. So P is equal to 5 orbitals. Ganon. Okay? So if you have this topic, ma-perfect na jud mo ha. Okay? So if you have this type of question in your chemistry lecture, then you should be perfect. Okay? You get the point? Okay? Okay. So P we have nakakaloka. Okay? S, P, D, F. So we have 3 orbitals. Okay, 3 orbitals. Imo din drawing on. Okay. Imong style ana magbuhat barong kag circle, magbuhat barong kag square for your understanding only. But in my case, I make a box. My box represent as my orbital. Okay. So 3 orbitals. I will put 3 boxes. 1, 2, 3. Because it's coming from the 5p3. Okay? Like that. It's not S, it's not D, it's not F. P man siya. So 3 orbitals. Now, I need to complete my MS. Magnetic electron spin quantum number, MS. How can I do that? Okay? Like that. And then you will remember the theory of Poli exclusion principle. You know, Mr. Poli, he discovered that in every orbital, it will be occupying 2 electrons, like that, with opposite spin, like that. But it should be completed first, hold the orbital before going back to the first orbital, before filling the another electron. How can we understand that one? Meaning to say, there are 2 maximum electrons in each orbital, but you don't have to fill that directly, the 2 electrons. You have to go first to the last orbital before filling it fully with the 2 electrons. That's what we are trying to do now here. Okay? Like that. That's Poli exclusion principle. Okay, now, 2 electrons with opposite spin. Ganon. Opposite spin, mga palangga, in electronic configuration is going up, positive 1/2, and going down, negative 1/2. There's no other. Okay, put that in your brain cells. The spin of an electrons that found in your microchips in your mobile phone, in your laptop, in your television, in your speaker, whatever speaker you have, the electrons there inside have only 2 spins, positive 1/2 and negative 1/2, no other. Okay? Get the point? Now, because we're dealing with electrons and most of the microchips, all microchips inside our mobile phones are made of electrons. Okay? And elements are made up of electrons. You get a point? Okay, going back. So there are 3 orbitals. Now, I need to complete this 3. The 3 atomic number of the electrons, I need to put that here in the first position. 1 electron going up, okay. Second orbital going up, electron, third, okay. Now, you cannot go down because only 3 electrons are 5p3. So now, your spin or MS will be positive 1/2. That is your answer. Okay. Now, you are very, very lucky if the question in the future will ask for the electron spin magnetic property because there are only 2, positive 1/2, negative 1/2, so 50-50 chance of getting the correct answer. You get the point? Okay, so lucky. Okay, but better, you should be perfect. Okay, like that. So, MS will be positive 1/2. Okay. Now, what is your ML, mga palangga? Okay. ML, magnetic quantum property, ML, basing on azimuthal. So, if you have 3 orbital, okay, like that, 3 orbital, So 3 orbital meaning 3 orbital. Oh, 3 orbital. Oh, ganon. Meaning to say, guys, you have still 2 negative 3. Oh. In mathematics, okay, negative 3 to positive 3. Ganon. If we mean of 3 orbital. If we have 5 orbital also, we will say negative 5 to positive 5. If you have also negative 7, if you have 7 orbitals, you have also negative 7 to blah blah blah. But in this case, we have only 3. Ganon. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So meaning to say, guys, okay, we have still negative 2, negative 1, 0 is the center, and then we have still 1, positive 1, positive 2, positive 3. Ganon. Diba? So, muna mo mga kuan ang imong gidrawing. Ganon. Okay, now. Asa man ka ni hunong, diri ka sa last orbital. Okay? You get the point? Diri ka ni hunong, diri ka ni hunong sa ikatulong na orbital. So, our NL will be 3. You get the point? Our NL will be 3. Okay? You get the point? MS is positive 1/2, NL is equal to 3, N is equal to 5, P is equal to 6 in your antimony electronic configuration. Now, we need to prove why it happens. Okay? Because there are 3 orbitals, so we have also 1, 2, 3. Ganon. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, this one is representing your P6 electrons. Okay? The negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, positive 1, positive 2, positive 3. Diba? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 electrons in your P. Okay? Including the negative. Something like that. Okay? Meaning to say that 6 electrons have equivalent negative on the other side. Okay? You get the point? It's not all positive 6. There's also negative. Something like that. For example, if you have 8, the 4 is positive, the 4 is negative. Ganon-ganon. Okay? You get the point? Okay? You will count up everything and it will become 8 electrons. Ganon. Right? So if you have 14 electrons, oh, ganon. The other one is also negative there. You get the point? Ano na siya netabo. Okay? Ganon. So, ano na siya? Perfect na mo sa question number 2. So, we had answer already. Find the electronic configuration. Kalas. Any questions so far mga palangga? Okay. Wala na mga palangga. Wala na may mga question chuba-chucho sa question number 2. Okay. You can comment, you can share, you can like, and you can subscribe to my channel if you want also. And you can also click the notification bell for some newest updates. So, I am a singer to my voice. Bye-bye. God bless everybody. Oh my gosh, nakakala.